And now, live from Gurnee, Illinois, our premier leaders event. Introducing your hostess for the evening, President and CEO, Kristi Long.
Welcome to tonight's Premier Leaders event. We are so excited to have you joining us this evening to learn more about our work and how you can support this important work in Lake County. First of all, I'd just like to celebrate that we're all together tonight, coming together for the programs that United Way delivers. It's certainly been a year unlike any others, and we cannot thank you for your support during the year. I know many of you were very generous in helping people challenged by COVID, and yet here you are again helping us support the families here in Lake County that need our services. We certainly hope you feel appreciated tonight and understand what a huge difference you are making in the lives of families and young children in Lake County. And so I'd like to start by recognizing our co-chairs. They are just terrific people, Rudy and Carla Zuniga, and also Azita Selecki Gerhardt and her husband Armin Gerhardt. They have been terrific helping us craft this event tonight, and we can't thank them enough for their support. And of course, we also have a lot of sponsors helping us this evening, so I'd like to introduce you to our sponsors. A special thank you to our valedictorian sponsors, Lundbeck U.S. Charitable Fund and Snap-on Credit. Our magna cum laude sponsors, AbbVie, Allstate, McLean Fogg, North Shore Gas, and United Conveyor Corporation. And our cum laude sponsors, BMO Harris Bank, College of Lake County, First Midwest Bank, Great Lakes Credit Union, Nexus Pharmaceuticals, and Trustmark. So it's now my pleasure to get the evening started and introduce our keynote speaker, Cristina Pacione-Zayas, who also has a PhD. She is an academic researcher, policy expert, and education leader who has current information to share with us this evening, especially about the crucial importance of early childhood education. She also serves as an Illinois State Senator for District 20, and prior to joining the Senate, she was the Associate Vice President of Policy for the Erickson Institute, an academic institution focused on child development. There, she led Erickson's policy agenda to generate systemic solutions and equitable opportunities for young children, families, and their communities. Dr. Pacione-Zayas is credited with establishing Erickson's Early Childhood Leadership Academy and Community Data Lab, two statewide initiatives designed for Illinois leaders to foster deeper understanding of the importance of early learning, the child's first 5 years, and how to apply child development science to policies that yield positive outcomes for families and children. We are so happy to have her with us this evening and to have her share her knowledge as we kick off our focus to United We Thrive. Welcome, Dr. Pacione-Zayas. Happy to have you tonight and can't wait to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and really excited to share this moment with you all, as I am a huge fan of the work of United Way and specifically the Success by 6 initiative. I always like to start all of my talks centering us on the story of the Maasai greeting. The Maasai community in Eastern Africa, Kenya to be exact, instead of asking each other, "Hi, how are you?" the greeting for friends, family, neighbors, colleagues is, "And how are the children?" They have essentially perfected the art of language to be able to remind us of their collective priorities and that children are a community's most valuable asset, because essentially children represent the barometer for community well-being. We know that if the children are well, their parents are well, caregivers are well, the environment is clean, safe, children are able to freely play, explore, be mischievous. Essentially, they are set up to thrive. Now, I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club in a community in Chicago known as Logan Square. My parents met there as after-school instructors, fell in love, worked their way up to becoming executive director and program director, and they had a cute little baby, me. I grew up in the context of the club in my early years and saw my parents working around the clock to basically negotiate gang truces, to ensure that families had basic resources, to create spaces for young people and their creative expressions. Their legacy at the Boys and Girls Club was really about social responsibility. What we all witnessed and understood is that we are responsible for each other. We are each other's business. And so at an early age, I was groomed for the family's business. And that's precisely why I'm here tonight, to talk about how I have kind of honed in on the family business, specifically looking at the early years and how early experiences literally make a difference in terms of carving a path for success. I want to bring us to talking a little bit about, in general, the research around the early years, the results, and some responses that we could activate. So when we are talking about young children, I want to level set. And what you see right now is a map of our state organized by county, and it's a heat map. And you'll notice that the darker the blue, the higher the concentration of the indicator that we're going to be looking at. In this case, we're looking at child population, and this is the 0 to 5 population. In Illinois, we have 916,880 children under the age of 5. In Lake County alone, we have nearly 50,000. And they represent 7.4% of the state population, which is 12.6 million in total in Illinois. Now, what you'll see in that white box is the racial and ethnic breakdown of the young child population. And this is really important because United Way's focus on equity is very much looking at the concept of not just equality, because equality means everybody gets the same thing. Equity means everybody gets what they need, and therefore your lived experience in many ways can be tied to the racial identity that you have. And so when we're talking about young children, I want to focus on some of the brain research that we have become aware of over the past 20 years. And that is that we've uncovered that the first 5 years of life set the trajectory for being the most transformative period. And that is because 90% of the brain is developed during those first 5 years. And literally the experiences that you can have can either undermine or optimize your development. And one of the most important things to consider when we're thinking about the early years in young children is the primacy of relationships, because young children develop in the context of relationships. They experience the world through relationships with their parent or caregiver. In real estate, we talk about location, location, location. Well, in early childhood, it's relationships, relationships, relationships. So moving along and thinking about this early childhood concept and the research behind it is that we have to take a multi-generational approach when we're thinking about this type of work. When we're investing in young children, we're also investing in their families, and we need to be deliberate about that, because young children are not just widgets. They're developing in these relationships, which are in greater context, such as the community in which they're growing up, the family dynamics, the municipality, the town, the suburb, the state. All of that influences child development. And so building on that relationship piece, I want to point you to, in thinking about that multi-generational piece, is another data point, maternal education. So what this map shows you is the percentage of moms age 20 and older without a high school diploma. And the reason why we're looking at this is because maternal education is one of the single greatest influencers of child development. And what that really means is that when you have lower levels of education, you are likely not earning as much. Your economic stability is compromised. Your wages are low, you may not have benefits, you may be without work. And what does that do? Limit your access to high quality early care, education, and health services. You'll also notice on this slide that the experience of this particular indicator is different based on race and ethnicity. Looking at that white box again, you will see that the highest peak that's represented are the proportion of Latina mothers that do not have a high school diploma. And again, when we are thinking about interventions and when we're thinking about solutions and we're thinking about equity, we need to be deliberate in how we design these interventions and solutions to specifically meet the needs of why Latinas are experiencing barriers to completing their high school education and beyond. And so, moving along, I want to talk about how maternal education and other factors that compromise family and economic stability. I want to talk a little bit about stress and specifically toxic stress, because when a family is experiencing instability and, whether it's lack of economic resources or, in the case of the pandemic, we have all experienced a level of trauma and stress throughout this pandemic. But I think what the pandemic helped to really unveil is how many families were literally living and surviving at the margins because of their lack of access to high quality health care, lack of affordable housing. They may have lost lives. They may have not had access to food and nutrition. All of those compounding risk factors have added to the stress, have added to all of the pain and suffering, and really can compromise child development. And so I want you to think about stress in a particular way, because sometimes stress can be healthy. It can help us grow and it can help push us to the next level, right? I'm talking about chronic and persistent stress that's often experienced and provoked when you are living in conditions where you don't have access to basic resources. This literally can affect the architecture of the brain. And the reason why is because the area in which we register stress and trauma is the same area that registers memory and cognition. And so this has implications for child development and specifically kindergarten readiness. And so I want us to now look at this data point around kindergarten readiness, because what you see now in this map is the distribution of kindergartners across our state that did not meet the threshold for kindergarten readiness established by our state. Our state administers what we call KIDS, the Kindergarten Individual Development Survey. It's an observational tool that teachers use to look at literacy and language and social emotional development and math skills. Well, 3 out of 4 of our kindergartners across the state did not meet those particular thresholds. And again, looking at that white box, from a racial equity standpoint, we had different experiences depending on your identity, your racial or ethnic identity. And kindergarten readiness serves as sort of like an early alert to what may happen in 3rd grade, because 3rd grade is that marker for reading in terms of we learn how to read up until 3rd grade, and then after 3rd grade, we read to learn. And so not being able to read well at 3rd grade may be an indication of longer-term academic challenges. And so I want to talk about now results, because what you're going to see is what we call the Heckman equation. James Heckman is a Nobel economist from the University of Chicago, and he has been able to quantify the return on investment through longitudinal data and research. And essentially what he found is that every single dollar invested in high-quality early care and education from birth to 5 has a 13% annual return. I don't think it gets any better than that. And what you'll see in terms of that slope is that the earlier you invest, the greater the return is. Whereas over the lifespan, the returns are diminishing. And so when we think about these high quality early care and education programs, the reason why they're so important and so effective is they teach us our foundational cognitive and social emotional development skills. And these two things go hand in hand, because we often learn in early care and education programs, soft skills is what we call them. How to form relationships with peers, how to manage conflict and emotions, how to take turns, how to read social cues. And all of these skills then help us do more complex activities such as reading and writing and critical thinking and problem solving. All of this is connected, and that's why we have to think about how these investments, we double down on them and we go deeper, and because we only have a window of time. And if we don't get into that window of time to build protective factors when children are experiencing stress and trauma and any other risk factors, it's going to be a lot harder to get the returns that we saw in that earlier part of the slope. So I want to bring us back to the relationships piece. And this is precisely why we have to think about early care and education investments beyond just the child, because the child isn't alone. The child is in relationship with that parent, caregiver, family, community. And we need to support parents in being able to facilitate their child's development, to reinforce healthy, optimal child development. So equipping parents with skills and resources to build literacy through reading together, singing together, telling stories, having a language-rich environment. I used to narrate everything when my kids were really little. I'm talking about, here I am chopping up some vegetables, and oh, look, there's a cardinal flying through the backyard. I am introducing my child to various types of language, whether it's Spanish, English, professional language, academic language. We're code switching. I can't get them to stop talking now. But the point is that through those experiences, we also form a stronger bond and connection, which then also fortifies their self-confidence. Again, pays dividends. And this is precisely why we have to think about this work beyond the child, multi-generational, intergenerational. So in response to the research and the results, here are some things to consider. So I personally have decided to take my lived and professional experience, apply it in the legislative arena. I am really proud of the work that we've done over the past year. Obviously, you can probably discern I am a systems thinker and doer, and so I wanted to apply my skills to bring about systemic change, particularly focused and anchored on equity across our state. And so some of the pieces that we've been working on this past year, I cast my first vote towards the Black Caucus's 4 Pillars agenda. This was in response to the murder of George Floyd, and they wanted to take the protests to progress and to really look at, particularly in the areas of education, economic opportunity, health, and criminal justice, how we can be very deliberate in how we do our work. Because as I mentioned before, window of time, and we need to build those protective factors, right? So they have a cradle to career focus in their educational pillar that is deliberately looking at the various policies from that age range and from that spectrum and really zoning in on racial equity. We also, I just introduced and passed a bill where we're going to be standing up a statewide early childhood workforce consortium in which all of our 2-year and 4-year public institutions are going to participate and design pathways so that our early childhood workforce can pursue credentials, associate degrees, bachelor's degrees to solve for the 2,200 vacancies we have in early care and education, because we can't continue to open up programs and not have the workforce to be able to staff those programs and also to build their economic security and they can meet their educational goals, right? And so, not only did we pass that legislation, we also have $110 million dedicated to stand up that consortium so that it can really be systemic and statewide. And so, ways that you can partner with me in this work. I would ask that you encourage my colleagues in the General Assembly to make increased investments in early care and education, because obviously the data is there, the research is there. We know it's the morally right thing to do. But I also, want to commend United Way, because there has been an increased investment and growth opportunity in the education and specifically the early part of education with the Success by 6 initiative. We have multiple elements to how they have been addressing this work. The Bright to Text program that texts new moms tips on how to support their child's development. There was a kindergarten readiness tool that had been in place for the past 12 years. They were ahead of the game before the state started to mandate it and made tremendous gains with respect to going from 6% to 54% in kindergarten readiness over the past 12 years. There is a readiness or a reading to success program for preschoolers and kindergartners and parents to build literacy in an organic way. And then there's the 211 helpline, which recognizes that families may need some assistance and support to navigate health and human services. We'd love to get that across the state. Right now it's in a specific geography because I can attest to many families needing that work. But I just really want to thank you all for this opportunity to be in community with you right now, to honor the work of this organization. It is truly something that is admirable. I want to thank you all on behalf of all of the young children and children across our state. I used to serve on the State Board of Education and always centered my policy making in children. It is an honor to be here, and I know that this is a community that really wants to live up to being able to answer that Messiah greeting with, "And all the children are well."
So, Cristina, we cannot thank you enough for being with us this evening. And your message has just reinforced what we have been doing, but lets us know that there's just so much more work to be done and so many more children that need the help and the services we've been able to provide. So thank you. I also want to mention that Cristina is a star today because the legislature was in session up until last night, midnight, and she still had work to do today and got in the car and drove up to Gurnee, Illinois to be with us this evening. So we want to thank you so much. We've got a little token of our appreciation for you. They're big, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
But, you know, I hope as our supporters that you've heard the really meaningful words from Cristina and that we can take them to heart and figure out even more ways. And I loved your idea about the relationships. I'd never really thought of that. But, you know, a part of our work has always been to help parents be their child's first teacher, to empower them, to let them know what they can be doing intentionally every day. And that certainly just dovetails beautifully with what you've shared with us. So thank you. And now I would like to introduce our brand new video, The Path to Success Begins with Equity.
Equity. It just makes sense. I get what I need, you get what you need, and we all succeed. Turns out, equity hasn't been the standard when it comes to our kids, but it can be. It starts by giving all our kids what they need to succeed in school, by leveling the playing field, by helping them over obstacles that stand in their way. It starts now. Many kids in Lake County face obstacles that others don't. They lack resources that many of us take for granted, but we can help get them past obstacles and continue their journey to success. Some families don't have access to books or in-depth parenting skills. United Way of Lake County helps boost early childhood development so children enter school ready to succeed. Some families can't afford preschool. United Way of Lake County helps children develop the age-appropriate social, emotional, and intellectual skills needed before they enter kindergarten. Children who can read at grade level by the end of 3rd grade are more likely to succeed in school and graduate. So when students fall behind in their reading skills, United Way of Lake County is there to help strengthen those skills and keep them on track. Many families struggle with basic needs, such as putting food on the table. United Way of Lake County's 211 helpline connects families to essential resources. Some middle and high school students lack career guidance or a positive role model. United Way of Lake County provides mentorship opportunities and academic support to help prepare students for high school and graduation. United Way of Lake County wants to build an equitable future for all our Lake County children. Please join us in creating lasting change that will improve lives right here in our community.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Quinton Snodgrass. I'm VP of Resource Development here at United Way of Lake County. And wasn't that an amazing video? Not just the video, what a great speaker. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we were able to all see that. And honestly, I'm just happy to be a part of an organization that's able to focus on equity like this in our community. And you know, this is all work that I know everyone here is already interested in, and everyone that supports United Way already believes in. And most everyone here is already supporting this work in a number of ways. So tonight, this is just about one additional way you can support this work and make sure that the people who need the assistance are getting access to these great programs. So what you can do right now is you can take a look at your screen, not my screen, your screen. Take a look at your screen, and you're going to see a list of things on it that say fund the need. So these are all levels with descriptions of the kinds of programming that we do here at United Way of Lake County. So these are all things that are going to impact local families and children. They're education focused. They're focusing on young children. They're focusing on these things that we just heard so much about. And what I want you to do is take a look at these levels and see what resonates with you. Because right now, this is a live event. We're doing this right now. And just a little bit about, like, this is a live presentation, so this isn't much different than if we were able to be together and have an actual paddle raise and raise these kinds of funds together. Because as you're hearing us talk about some of these things, log into your computer, you make a gift right now online, and that's going to show. It's going to raise that bar. We're going to see these totals go up, and when these totals go up, each dollar equals more programming that we can deliver here at United Way of Lake County.
And so tonight, our goal is to raise $175,000. And as you can see by the thermometer, we've already had sponsors for the evening, some donors giving early. We greatly appreciate that. You've gotten us off to a good start, and I have no doubt we will be able to blow our goal way apart. We'll exceed it, I have no doubt. And of course, all the dollars raised tonight go to United Way's education programs and to the 211 helpline. And we know that many of you have supported these efforts through the years. We appreciate it, and we continue to have laser focus in these areas that we think will make the biggest difference here in Lake County. So Quinton, get it started.
All right, so to start us off, we're going to start at the very, very top. So our very first level here is $10,000. And this level is to help us expand our programming to reduce the impact of COVID-19 and a year of virtual programming on children in our low-income communities here in Lake County. And honestly, just to plug this myself, when we say impact of virtual learning, I have a third grader and a first grader at home. Impact on the parents too. This has been a year unlike anything else, and the challenges of doing virtual learning and virtual programming, even for people that are able to work remotely, where both parents are able to work remotely, where we have access to childcare. There's a lot of hurdles, but there's a lot of people that don't have access to all these things, and this has been an incredible struggle, even more so for the children than the parents. So this is a huge piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and if you want to make a gift and I've already passed through a level, please don't feel like you can't make that gift. We're going to leave this open and live so you can make a gift at any level, at any time. And I'm going to try and catch everybody's name. I've got helpers over here, where if I miss somebody on my screen, helpers over here are going to help me recognize. So for this very first level,
and I'll just mention one other thing about this level. I think everyone who's joining us tonight certainly understands that COVID hit many families harder than others. And I believe that the families we serve and the communities we serve, they were hit extra hard. And so, you know, whether it was being linked up with technology this year, whether it was parents really understanding, you know, how to craft a good schedule at home and support their children, those are all things that were really happening to families. And so for us, taking our programs from, you know, the regular way we would deliver them to translating them into being at-home learning or hybrid learning, we have done whatever it took to make sure we could still reach these families and their young children, because we knew that more than ever they needed extra support.
Absolutely. And I already have one anonymous $10,000 donor in here, and I'm seeing more come in as we speak. So first of all, I'd like to thank Jack and Carol Ayton. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving at this level. I'd very much like to thank Azita Selecki Gerhardt, and Armin Gerhardt. Thank you so, so much. I'd also like to thank Tom Hudson. So Tom Hudson, thank you so, so much. Wonderful. And I have Jack and Carol Layton and Tom Hudson.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
So,
Thank you.
So our next level, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to move on a little quickly because I want to be cognizant of time. But next up, we have $7,500 for the wildly popular programs that we deploy that motivate middle and high school kids to stay in school. And honestly, and I'd like to say a word about this too. Some of these programs, they're helping middle school kids consider what kind of careers to have, how do they get mentorship activities, what are some of the next steps that they might be able to take on their educational and their professional path. And you know what, there's some cool programming here. I want to give a shout out to our group Leaders United, which actually is blending a way to give with a way to volunteer. So this Leaders United is a young professionals group that's coming together and mentoring kids at Abbott Middle School, and their programs are always expanding. They get there way, way early. During COVID, they did this all remotely, but they're spending time with kids before school starts, helping with homework, doing mentorship activities, wonderful things.
And the research shows that if a child, by the time they leave middle school into high school, if they even have an inkling of what kind of career they might like to explore or what they can be in this world, they are far more likely to graduate high school. Mm-hmm. So that's why really focusing in on these middle school years, giving kids the opportunity to explore different careers, hear from people about how they, did their career trajectory. It's really heartening. And as you said, a great opportunity for volunteers to give back and share their story, because it really brings it to life for these kids. It's been very exciting.
It has. So, and already I see a group here, Andrew and Karen Warrington. Thank you so much, Andrew and Karen, for your support at this level. So again, I'm going to move us forward, but that doesn't prevent us from going back. So our next level.
Yes, but before that, we have had a huge
Oh my
jump
gosh,
on our
look at
thermometer.
that.
Oh my gosh. I think when we started, we were at like 99,000.
Yeah, we were 99 a minute ago.
Now at 142,000. That is tremendous.
That's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
80%.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That will make such a difference in the programs we deliver and to the families that are impacted by those programs. So can't thank you enough. And I know we're on to the next level, the $5,000 level, and it's all about literacy. And as Cristina shared with us, the whole idea that we learn to read up through 3rd grade, and by the end of 3rd grade, we need to read to learn. And so that is critical, and that's something that we really know that is the next milestone that's so important after early learning. So for $5,000, you can sponsor 20 children to be part of this program. And we match the children with volunteer tutors who we meet with them weekly through the school year. The children selected are behind on their reading comprehension, and the tutor works with them daily, or not daily, I'm sorry, once a week, and gives them not only the opportunity to practice their skills, learn new skills, but it also gives them that one-on-one mentorship and builds the children's confidence. So this happens in classrooms 1st grade through 3rd grade. Again, $5,000 sponsors 20 kids. And the kids that participate in this program have twice as good results as the other children in the classroom. So they're making big gains, they're making a big catch up, and we're really ensuring that by the time they get to 4th grade, they know how to read, and most importantly, they know how to comprehend what they're reading. So a very exciting program, and it's been successful for over 10 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, we're still going up.
Oh my gosh,
so
we're still going up
keep
on
talking,
the thermometer.
Christy. It'll keep going up. That's wonderful. Thank you all so much. So some of these gifts I think that are coming through right now, I'm seeing Pete Manhard. Thank you so much, Pete. I'm seeing Derek and Elizabeth Salmon Family Charitable Foundation. Thank you so much. I see Tejal Vakaria and Jose Rivera. Thank you so much. I see Tom Mendelwald and Dick Moorhead. Thank you so much, Dick Moorhead. So we may have some more coming in, and if I will go back, if I miss anybody, I will scoot back and make sure I'm catching people, but goodness gracious, 174. So Christy,
wow.
we are
Oh my
less than
gosh.
$1,000 away.
We're less than $300. Just
from our goal.
$300, people.
And I also have Anthony Kasich. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Oh my
Thank you so
gosh.
very much.
Well, I would say at
Mm-hmm.
this point we are amazed at this, and we are going to keep going forward.
Absolutely, this is wonderful. So, Kristi, we're gonna keep it moving to the next level. So next we're gonna go to $2,500 for 211. So 211, giving it this level, this helps contribute to staffing. This helps staff the contact center. It helps enroll more and more agencies in the programs that 211 makes referrals to, and it gets the word out about 211. And honestly, I'd love to just make a brief mention. And did we just reach our goal?
Oh my gosh, we blew
did.
past it.
We just reached our goal. Thank you so much.
108. Oh my gosh, I love this real time.
Absolutely, this is wonderful. So,
Well, let me add a couple other things
Yes,
about
please.
211. Anybody who's learned about 211, I think you can completely appreciate what a star it has been this past year in helping so many families deal with the ramifications of the pandemic. The call specialists at the call center answered 3 times the normal call level. That's how many people were reaching out. And as Quinton has said often, these were people who maybe have never had to reach out for help, but under these really dire circumstances, they didn't know where to turn, but 211 was there to link them with wonderful agencies and wonderful programs in 211. Over the past year, 3,600 calls came in just about rental assistance. So being able to link them with programs that the federal government was doing, the county government was doing, those are families that got to stay in their house because they reached out and got the help they needed. And then since its launch, 211 has linked over 90,000 people in Lake County with services that are here in Lake County. So this past year, it really showed its strength. We're very proud of it. But more than that, we're so glad it was here to help people that needed help, immediately.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about 211 this year, and honestly, almost all of my conversations about 211 have started with, thank God we launched it when we did, that we had a couple months to prepare before COVID happened. And yeah, that was one of the biggest things, is that so many people that used it had never needed to use these kinds of services before. So without it, even people in the social service sector have trouble making referrals to every problem because there's just no good way to know without a kind of service like this. So again, we're still going up. Thank you so much. We're at 190,000.
Oh my
I'd like to
gosh.
thank some of the people that are making gifts right now that's making that possible. So at this level, we have Campanella and Sons. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have Chuck and Teresa Bartel. Thank you, Chuck and Teresa. Judy and Larry Berliant. Thank you so much. I have Mark and Sarah Schweitzer. Thank you. I have Brian Abry. I have Mike Zafarowski. Thank you so much. I've got notes from other people as well. My friends are telling me I've got some people. Nope, different level.
I think you covered them.
I got them.
think
I
we're
got
good.
them. I got them all.
Okay.
I'm on the ball.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep it moving. There's more opportunities to give to 211 or any of the other levels. So feel free to make donations at any time. But I'm gonna move us on to the $1,000 level.
I'm looking
So
to see if we can go over 200,000.
I'm watching too.
Not to put any pressure on anyone.
So next is the $1,000 level. So with the $1,000, you provide children who've never been to preschool, and many of our Lake County children have never been to preschool. You provide them with a summer learning opportunity and materials for kindergarten readiness. So this is important pieces here, because preschool isn't universal. Not everyone goes, and the kids that don't go to preschool have a challenge coming in to the ones that aren't. Kristi, it looks like you want to say some more.
Yeah, I think Cristina talked a little bit about it too. If you didn't go to preschool, you've probably never been in a classroom. A child has probably never interacted with kind of an authority figure, a teacher, and they may not have even interacted with peers other than brothers and sisters and cousins. So it's not only that the kindergarten countdown camp teaches still the basics, recognizing letters and numbers and shapes and colors and all that, but as Cristina was saying, it's really the social emotional, and I think it gives confidence in being comfortable. A couple of years ago, we had one of the kindergarten teachers come to talk to our board of directors because she had been one of our kindergarten camp teachers over the summer. And she said the first week there was a little boy in her class, and there's only 15 to 20 kids in the class, so they get a lot of individualized attention. But she said the first week he literally just sat in the corner by himself and didn't want to do anything and didn't want to interact and was just very uncomfortable and quite afraid, actually. And it turned out that this little boy was assigned to her class for kindergarten. And she said because of his experience in kindergarten countdown camp, on the first day of class, he was sitting at the front door telling all the kids what to do, what's up, where to put your backpack, where you should sit, what the teacher's name is. And he was just little Mr. Ambassador for that kindergarten camp or the kindergarten classroom. And that's what you want to see. You want to see kids on the first day of kindergarten. And think of how a teacher feels on the first day of kindergarten if the children are afraid or aren't up to, you know, certain levels of understanding. It helps that teacher be so much more effective. So this is one of my favorite programs. And I just know how important it is that a child feel comfortable in kindergarten. And if being in a countdown camp for 3 or 4 weeks does that, that child's going to be much more open to learning and able to learn. So just a great program.
Absolutely. So, and the numbers is we're at 197.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we're coming in on that 200,000 mark. Some of the people that are helping us get there now are, I've got Mike Duma. Thank you so much, Mike. I've got Kristi Zenselmeyer. Thank you, Kristi. I've got Patrice Maloney-Knopf. Thank you so much, Patrice. I've got Norman and Joy Weidenberg. Thank you so much. I've got Joan Gusta and Nancy Cooley. Thank you so much, Nancy. And I think I'm getting some hand signals. I think I've got everybody from my friends over here. So I'm going to keep us moving along. We're so very close to the 200,000 mark. So now we're at the $500 mark. So for $500, we can send 10 families to early learning clubs with this gift. So, and this is, Kristi, a little bit like what you were talking about before. In this, we're teaching parents to really engage thoughtfully with their kids because parents are their children's first teachers. I got a crash course in this year. And honestly, I took a lot of the things that we teach here home with me because being an engaged parent and being able to help your kids when they're in school, this is a huge thing for the parents to be able to do as well. And at this level, Kristi, do you want to say anything more about this? I know this is sort of integral to everything that we do, but...
Yeah, you know, kind of going off of what Cristina talked about, an experience we had here when we started early learning about 12 years ago, one of the questions we asked the families that we were beginning to serve was, when does education begin? When does your child begin learning? When do you see their educational experience starting? And a very high percentage of the parents said in kindergarten. And, you know, based on what Cristina talked about, based on all the research, we know that a parent really needs to embrace the early learning between birth and age 5. And these early learning clubs, the parents think it's for the children, but it's really for the parents. It's like Quinton said, it's to empower the parents, to be intentional every day, to know little ways to interact with their children and help their children learn. And reading is actually a big part of that. You know, just the whole concept that read to your child every day, read at bedtime. We know what an important milestone that is around reading comprehension if they get into the habit of reading every day and make it fun.
Absolutely. And I think we just hit that
Oh my
$200,000
gosh.
mark, Kristi. So
Wow.
thank you all so much. So some of the people that are making it happen here, John McVeigh, thank you so much. Laureen Merschmer, Karen Lowry, thank you so much, Karen. I've got Steve Bugg. I've got Bill Curtis and Donna LaPetra. Thank you both so very much. Denise Majeski. Thomas Coyle. Thank you so much, Thomas. I've got Michelle Hansen and Ann Main. Thank you both. Thank you so much.
That is just tremendous. And now we'll go to the $250 level. And at this level, you are supporting a brand new program we implemented this year called Bright by Text. And it is a program where families can sign up for these texts based on their child's age. And they receive 1 or 2 learning tips or just tips about early learning every week, again, based on their child's age. And some of the tips are about developmental milestones, brain development, health, nutrition, resilience, language, reading. It's really tremendous. And some of the partners are just first rate that are helping curate the information shared. But it comes from really notable organizations like Sesame Street, PBS, the CDC. So it's first rate, and it's in digestible chunks of information that someone can take in and then react to, and hopefully helps them guide their relationship and what they're doing to support their child's early education. It's really terrific.
Yep. I'm looking at summer vacation right now, and I will be signing up as soon as I go home tonight. So we have several people helping us at this level. Thank you so much. We've got Gary Olfmans, Kathy McFarland. Thank you, Kathy. I've got Suzanne Zupek. Thank you so much. Frank Duell and Susan Whitney. Thank you all so much. And making sure I've got everybody from my friends over here. I think I've got everybody. So we're still edging up. And just a note too. So tonight, this is live. This is happening right now. But this site, when we're done this evening, the site will not go down until the end of the week. So we will be announcing our totals on Friday. But this is still live. So when we're done, if you had a problem with your credit card, or you want to send a check, or you just want to talk to me before you make a gift, feel free to give me a call. Happy to help. So it's all still live. So now our last level is $211, which is not a coincidence. It's $211 to join our 211 club. And this, I think this is a really great way to give. Because at $211, join the 211 club, you become part of the community that has made this program possible. So 211 didn't just happen by one giant magic grant that it just happened. The funding comes from everywhere. We have individual donors, we have corporations, we have generous support from Lake County government. This has really been a broad coalition of support that's made this program possible and helps it continue to grow and pivot rapidly in cases where we need to pivot rapidly, like with COVID response and emergency response, like partnering with the housing assistance program here through Lake County government. So every individual gift, you know that you're helping people get connected to the kinds of programs and services that they need. So we already have quite a few people giving at this level as well. This has been a big club. But more people are joining every day. I've got Judge Louis Barones and Mary Barones. Thank you so much, Your Honor. Carissa Casbon, thank you so much. I've got Rita Zalusik. Thank you so much, Rita. John Pyrog. I've got Monica Burmeister. And I've got Glenda Abbott.
And you can sign me up.
Oh.
I like being part of the 211 club.
And, thank you. And I've got KRISTI. Thank you so much, KRISTI. And I think my wife might be signing up right this minute as well, but I don't see her name yet, so I'm going to ask when I get home.
$49, Abigail, and we'll make it to $202,000. Go ahead, make your pledge now.
All right. So this is like I said, I've got Tim Sashko. Thank you so much. I've got Tim Sashko. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. So my goodness, what are we up to, KRISTI, currently?
Well, $202,162.
202.
That is, oh my gosh, that's the highest we've ever raised at this event. So what a year.
That's wonderful. So again, I mentioned before that this site remains live, so we're not closing it down quite yet. So watch your email for Friday, and we will be announcing the final. Oh my goodness, what just happened? It went to 215. It went to 225.
Okay, that's crazy.
I'm not sure where that came from, but we'll know on Friday.
We'll double check that, but we're really hoping it's real.
Absolutely. So that's wonderful. So like we said, please watch your email. We're going to share this grand total on Friday, and we just can't thank you enough. This is amazing and stupendous. The work that you're helping make possible is amazing, stupendous. The times that we are living in.
You know,
I'm not going to say are amazing and stupendous, but they require this kind of level of effort. So.
And I know everyone that's joined us this evening, you know, making our goal is important, raising this money is important. Oh my gosh, it keeps going up, 230,000. But I think what's most important is the difference this money is going to make in people's lives right here in Lake County. that, as Cristina said, those early 5 years are so critical, and it just helps us reach more children, more families that need just extra support to make it. So you guys are helping us do that, and we can't say thank you enough. And I have to look again. We're still at 230,000. Okay, so as Quentin said, Friday you'll get an email. We'll have the final tally for you. And tonight we both want to say thank you, and we will have a closing toast. A final toast, first of all, to all of you who've joined us, to our leaders, to our staff, to Dr. Pacione-Zayas who joined us, to our Lake County neighbors, and to our children. And we are also pleased to be working together to put young children on the path to success. And you're helping us make that happen. So thank you. And next year, I promise, we are going to see all of you in person.
Absolutely.
So have a wonderful evening. Please check your email on Friday, and we will be able to share, I think, outstanding news with you. Thank you, and have a great evening.